Okay, good morning to all of you. Last time we have studied about the distribution of energy of a black body radiation. Last time we also saw the kind of experimental result that we got. We got a graph which showed something like this. At lower temperatures it was like this. As we increase the temperature, the maximum energy that is emitted moves backwards. Moves backward means it is emitted at a shorter wavelength. First it is emitted at infrared region here. As we move, as we increase the temperature, let us say this is 900, this is 1000 and this is 2000. As we increase the temperature, the maximum energy that is emitted is at a lower wavelength. On this axis we have wavelength, and we have seen different conclusions that we made from this graph. Today we are going to learn Wien's displacement law. Now what is Wien's displacement law? Wien's displacement law is an derivation of an equation to explain this nature of this graph. To explain the nature of this graph. This Wien's displacement law tries to give you an equation with the help of which you can predict energy, you can predict the energy intensity if you know the wavelength. For example, the wavelength is this 200 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter. Then this Wien's displacement law tries to give you the equation with the help of which you can predict how much energy it is going to be there at that wavelength. And the energy that we are talking about is the thermal energy or the heat radiation that is going to be emitted. Now, this point where maximum energy is emitted is called as lambda m. And we have seen that this lambda m moves backwards. This lambda m moves backwards as we increase the temperature. As we increase the temperature, lambda m moves backwards. So last time we had derived this lambda m into T is equal to constant. Into T is equal to constant. Let us say this is our equation number 1. This relation is also called as Wien's displacement law. Now what does this statement tell us? We can also write this lambda m or is inversely proportional to temperature. Is inversely proportional to temperature. That means as we increase the temperature, this lambda m is going to decrease. This lambda m is going to decrease. That means the maximum heat energy that is radiated at a wavelength will decrease. It will be emitted at a shorter wavelength. This statement is called as Wien's displacement law. Then we also know that this energy is directly proportional to the 4th power of temperature. Energy is directly proportional to 4th power of temperature. This is Stephen's Boltzmann law. But as you go at lambda m, the energy is maximum. Energy is maximum, and it is not proportional to T raised to 4 because T raised to 4 means anywhere here. At this point, the energy is more. So Em is directly proportional to T raised to not 4 but 5. Try to understand the difference between E and Em. E is the energy. Em is the maximum energy. This bump we are talking about, this bump. So from here only we can see that the energy is more at this point. So it is proportional not to T raised to 4 but it is proportional to T raised to 5. So we can write this Em T raised to minus 5, if I take it on this side, is equal to another constant. Let us say this is equation number 2. This is equation number 2. Now what we did was he combined these equations, equation 1 and equation 2. Why was he trying to combine this equation? Because he was trying to get an equation for this graph. He was trying to get equation for this graph. Now see how he combines. Here there is a relation between wavelength and temperature. Here the relation is between energy and temperature. What do we want? In order to explain this graph, we want a relation between energy and wavelength. So what we will do, in place of this, here we can write temperature is inversely proportional to 1 by lambda, or temperature is equal to some constant into lambda. So in place of this Tm, first we will take Tm on the other side, t raised to 5, then we will replace this t by this constant divided by lambda, constant divided by lambda m. So constant divided by some other constant, let us see constant number 2 divided by lambda m, this whole raised to 5, this whole raised to 5. Now using this, this is for maximum energy, this is for maximum energy. Now using this equation, what he did was, he tried to come up with an equation for energy intensity at any wavelength. This is at any wavelength. So this energy intensity he said was C1, that is some constant, into lambda raised to minus 5. This lambda raised to minus 5 came from the previous equation, into some function that depends on lambda and temperature. Okay, he said that E will be equal to C1, some constant. We saw in the previous there were two constants. If you multiply, you get a new constant. He said that constant is C1 into lambda raised to 5, and F, that is function, some function of lambda into T. Next thing he tried to do was, he tried to determine what is this function lambda T. He tried to determine what is this function lambda T. For this determination, okay, you cannot use thermodynamic principles. You could not use the thermodynamic principles. Couldn't use thermodynamic principles or thermodynamic laws. You could not use thermodynamic principles. So what he did was, he used mixture of gases in a radiator. He used mixture of gases in a radiator, and he heated these gases, and he tried to find out how much energy is emitted. By doing so, he made some assumptions to find out what is the value of this function. Okay, what are the assumptions that he made? The first assumption that he made was, now we are using mixture of gases. This mixture of gases, when they are heated, they will start vibrating. So what he said was, each molecule behaves as radiator. Each molecule vibrates, and this vibration creates wavelets, or it creates waves of energy. And these radiators emit a particular wavelength. Each molecule that is vibrating will emit a particular wavelength. Then he assumed that the energy intensity means how much energy is emitted from this vibration of the molecules. This energy intensity will be directly proportional to the velocity of vibration. If it vibrates slowly, the frequency will be less, or the wavelength will be longer. If it vibrates faster, the frequency will be more, or the wavelength will be shorter. And this energy intensity, or how much energy is emitted, also depends on number of molecules that vibrate at particular wavelength. So if you are talking for red color, if we are talking about red color, that color or the energy that is emitted at that color will depend on the velocity of the vibration. It will also depend on number of molecules that are vibrating with the same velocity. So he made these three assumptions. This is the third assumption, that each molecule will act as a radiator. Which molecules we are talking about? We are talking about the mixture of gases that he used inside a closed chamber and heated them. They will act, each molecule will act as a separate radiator and each will emit a particular wavelength. The energy that is emitted from this molecule will depend on two things. One is how much velocity they are vibrating, and second is how many number of molecules are vibrating with the same velocity. All these molecules will emit the same wavelength. So using this assumption, he tried to find out what is the value of this function lambda t. So he came up with this suggestion. That this function lambda t is of the form e raised to minus c2 divided by lambda t. He told us, or he suggested, that this function is of this form. So we will now place this function here in the previous equation. So E lambda is equal to C1 lambda raised to 5 and the function, that means C2 divided by lambda t. C2 divided by lambda t. Now still we have to find what is the value of C1 and C2. Now we have to find the values of C1 and C2. He found out these values of C1 and C2 by doing the experiments. Once you know the equation, you can do the experiment and find out what is the value of the constant. So for C1, he got the value 8 pi h into c. 8 pi h into c, where h is the Planck's constant and c is the velocity of light. Second, for C2, he got the equation. For C2, he got k hc divided by k. For C2, he determined the value hc divided by k. So we will now substitute these values in this equation. So E lambda is equal to C1. C1 means 8 pi h into c multiplied by lambda raised to minus 5 into e raised to minus c2. What is c2? h c k lambda t. K into lambda t. Okay. Then he got this equation. Now from this equation, little bit modifications are there, and then the final equation will come. Okay, one thing you need to remember, this is energy intensity. If you want total energy, you will have to multiply energy intensity with lambda. You will have to find the area under this curve. So once this equation is known, now we need to do some modifications to this equation. I will write this equation at the top. 8 pi hc lambda raised to minus 5 e raised to minus hc divided by k lambda t. Okay. Now what we did was, we can use hc raised to k lambda t equals to some value x. Here lambda is the variable, t is also the variable, so it will have some variable value x. Then we can say hc is equal to x k lambda t. X is equal to x k lambda t. We will replace this value here. This is hc. In place of hc, we will put this new value. So e into lambda is equal to 8 pi. In place of HC we have k lambda t into x multiplied by lambda raised to minus 5 e raised to minus x. Now this whole value becomes x. Okay, now this lambda and lambda we can solve. This is lambda raised to 1, this is lambda raised to minus 5. So what we will get? We will get 8 pi k t lambda raised to minus 4 plus 1 minus 5 will get minus 4 into x e raised to minus x. We have combined the terms which are similar. This is E lambda. Now if you want to find total energy, this is the energy intensity. If you want to find the total energy, you will have to multiply by lambda, that is d lambda, that is small energy. If you are multiplying here, you need to multiply here also. You need to multiply on the both sides. So this is the total energy. This is the total energy. So we can write total energy. Let us call it dE. dE means E lambda into d lambda will be equal to 8 pi k t. This lambda raised to 4 we will take at the denominator x into e raised to x into dy. So this is the equation he derived on the basis of the assumptions that he made. Now this equation was good. This equation, whether it was, we have to also understand whether this equation predicted all the experimental values or not. So by using this equation, we tried to predict the values, and what we found was this equation could predict what it could predict. It could predict E lambda at lower temperature. E lambda means the energy. It could predict the energy at lower temperature and shorter wavelengths. But it could not predict, or its predictions were wrong for higher temperature and longer wavelengths. So this equation could predict perfectly or very nicely at lower temperatures and shorter wavelengths. Means lower temperature and shorter wavelengths means this part it could predict. But as the temperature increased or the wavelength increased, its predictions and the experimental results were not right. So this is about Wien's displacement law. That means this whole line or this nature of this curve is still not explained. Okay, Wien's displacement law only explains a part of it. You can say this part of it. It explains up to somewhere here. It was able to explain at shorter wavelength, or it was able to predict at shorter wavelength and lower temperature. But this nature, the next part, or at higher temperature, this was not predicted properly by this equation. So we have two more equations on this same graph, which will try to do the same thing. They will try to predict this nature of this. They will try to find out the equation for this graph. Okay, I hope you have understood this Wien's displacement law. There is a statement which we have explained in the first part, and there is a derivation. This is derivation for Wien's displacement law. Thank you.